Hey guys, it's Universal Gameplay here. Another podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 9th of this 2016 year of
the 2016th
AD. Yeah.
The babbling. It's like that
Let
meme.
the babbling ensue.
That meme going around of like Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. Oh right, the poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison. Me writing essays.
Cusco's poison. Right. The poison.
Seriously though, it's like those times wherever you got like an essay with a word count, and you're just like, how can I drag this along? The very bright and shunny, the very bright and sunny yellow sun beamed down on my very cold, dry, and so it's just like you give as many adjectives as possible to describe the situation, and then you reword it a couple times. It's just unnecessary.
Meandering.
Yeah, meandering around words. So, let me get my cellular device.
The podcast.
Yeah, that's
Universal Gameplay Podcast. The one where we talk about games.
Just in case
games.
you've forgotten, or you haven't heard, GTA Online has an executives bonus week. It's going on right now. It started on February 5th and it goes till Thursday, the end of the day on the 11th. And it is double GTA and RP and all VIP work and challenges. So if you're good friends with somebody who's got $1 million in-game dollars in his bank account, have him do a VIP because those missions normally pay about $25,000. So you're looking at $50,000 for doing almost nothing.
Driving around and shooting things.
Yeah. Plus, he doesn't have to have $1 million in his in-game account anymore. His in-game Maze Bank account just has to have $500,000. Is the requirement for GTA VIPs for this bonus event. And there's 25% off all executive cars and helicopters, 25% off the Gold Luxor and Gold Swift. As cool as they are, it's the biggest waste of money, even 25% off. 50% off robes and smoking jackets, 10% off dock tees. What's so funny?
That's great. Robes and smoking jackets.
Yeah, for your cigars on your yacht.
Like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. 10% off dock tees, speedboats, sea sharks, and sailboats, and 10% off of any yacht customization. So, just throwing that out there, you got a couple more days to get on that boat, because I'm pretty sure it's leading up to the Valentine's Day DLC coming this year, which is speculated to come out Friday, the 12th. Bringing in the new Albany Roosevelt Valor. I've been watching too much YouTube. Valor. That's how we say it. We don't live in Europe. We don't have to enunciate every character of the word. So let's see what is...
Unless you want a more colorful vocabulary.
No. I don't. We live in America, where color is spelled C-O-L-O-R.
We speak American.
And we spell things like Merkins.
Badly.
Badly. No, we spell it the way it's supposed to be spelled.
Well, we spell it like stupid people would spell it. Like realize? I can't tell you how many more times I spelled that wrong because I want to put an S instead of a Z.
I hear a Z when I say realize.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a few.
It's not real ice. It's realize.
Well, there's a few other words that you say that end in SE, but still have a Z sound.
Ooh. We were talking about Battlefield last week, and I wish we waited until just now.
Why? What's up?
Battlefield 4 Xbox One PC or Xbox One and PS4 netcode for some servers is going to be improving this week.
Woo!
Not that it hasn't made huge strides in that category already, but it's
more the merrier.
Yeah, definitely nice to hear that they're fixing even more. The patch that we talked about last week for Fallout 4 that added all those fixes and stuff. It landed on consoles today, so PS4 and Xbox One users now have that patch to download. Always nice to download updates. Not really. Let's see if I can find any interesting news. Watch Far Cry Primal's 101 trailer, learn what it's all about.
I may not get Far Cry Primal. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I have Far Cry 3 on my computer. I think that's it. Destiny's February patch notes cover Crimson Days and Crucible changes. That game, I'm surprised, is even still. I'm moving my mic stand, so if there's some awful sounds, I apologize. I'm surprised that game's even still
kicking. Gaming's best 4 out of 10. Just kidding. It's like 5 out of 10.
It was fun for the first couple days, and then it hit a brick wall for me. And it got to the point where if I wanted good stuff, I just realized that I had to go and do bounties and do raids and all these strikes and stuff. And I'm just like,
yeah,
it's
and
not
do the same 4 strikes.
I can't do it
over and over and over again.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's a grind game. I hate grind games. The only good grind game is Pokemon.
It doesn't try to pretend to be anything else.
Yeah. I really don't. There's not a lot of major things that's happened.
Rainbow Six Siege came out with a new patch on consoles. They just released it on consoles. Comes with 2 new operators and like 2 new maps, something like that.
Well, there's something.
Uh-huh.
Assassin's Creed movie star Michael Fassbender cites The Matrix as inspiration.
That's either very good or very bad.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about that yet.
It's either going to be very good or very bad. Which Matrix? The first one? Or any of the sequels? Because any of the sequels would be a very bad thing.
Let us find out. Wow. Plus, the film won't use much of a green screen. A stunt double actually performed a 120-foot leap of faith.
That sounds terrifying.
Props to you, stunt double.
Yeah, good job.
Props
dude.
to you.
Good job, dude.
Because if I were a star in a movie and they're just like, okay, now here's what you got to do. You're jumping off this ledge, but you're doing a swan dive into a hay bale. Sorry, run that by me one more time. Oh yeah, no problem. You're swan diving off of this ledge into a hay bale. Yeah, off. I'm not contractually obligated to do so. Actually, you are.
Yeah. If you read Clause 2, paragraph 44 and line 26, this is your job.
So I don't think it's any specific Matrix. I think it's just the concept of the movie is where he says, I've always thought about the Matrix, and I'm quoting Fassbender here. I've always thought about the Matrix when we've approached this. This idea of DNA memory elevates it from a basic fantasy genre because you have something an audience can actually believe in. Then the journey becomes so much more elevated because you're on board in a different way. So I can kind of see where he's getting the concept of what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Kind of comes from the Matrix. I don't think that's going to hurt it. We'll just have to see. Because...
Well, if they take plot threads and ideas and character arcs from the Matrix, it'll be bad. It'll be a mess.
Just as a PSA, if Tyler sounds quiet, he's drawing on a marker board.
You can probably hear it.
He's just here, as we're talking, you just hear...
Little squeak.
Yeah, you probably heard that. Watch Dark Souls 3's opening cinematic.
I can't wait for Dark Souls 3. It's gonna be good.
I can.
I'm going to finish that game.
You say that, have you not finished the other two?
No.
I'm going to buy the third game, but I haven't finished the first two.
So apparently Dark Souls 3 is going to be the last of the Soul series. They're dropping the title after that title.
Well, that's good.
I'm hoping they go more like the fantasy route, because I feel like the reason why they're dropping it is because they're tired of the depressing setting.
Well, when you build a game that is designed to make people throw their controllers through the TVs, I can understand that.
Well, I think they're just tired of the depressing thing, because that's got to be tiring to work on. It's got to be exhausting to work on.
I mean, yeah, to a degree, but I can't stand that game. Jared plays it. My cousin Jared plays it, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a great game. I'm like, how? He's just like, oh no, it's a great game. I'm like, explain to me why. And he's like, well, I mean, I guess it's because you sort of get like this feeling of accomplishment when you complete something. I'm like, and then it's immediately crushed.
I don't know.
By something else.
You might go on a tear and just like start slaughtering everything. I did that. I went on like a giant killing spree, and then I got.
And here's the caveat.
Halted.
Yeah.
I got stopped hard, man.
Exactly. And you get this big feeling of accomplishment, like you're the biggest badass in the world, and then you get stopped, and you're just like.
But yeah, and then you overcome that challenge, and you're like, now I'm even more of a badass because I can beat this guy too.
To some degree, maybe. I won't. Hold on.
Bless you.
Oh, that felt that one in my chest. Oh man.
So I went rock climbing yesterday, so I'm sore everywhere because I'm horribly out of shape, and it hurts when I sneeze because you squeeze your abs when you sneeze.
Dude, after Tyler and I are in a band together, and we both play guitar, and I'm not used to standing up and playing guitar.
Thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna put my strap in my case when I get home.
Yeah, my strap. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't understand the concept of a guitar strap, it goes over your left shoulder
and
carries your guitar over your shoulder.
And sometimes those electric guitars get heavy.
And for 4.5 hours, that guitar being slung over your shoulder really takes its toll.
Yeah, and you feel it when you get home.
I got into my car, and it was nice out that day, so I rolled the window down, and I went to sit my arm on my window, and I'm like, ah!
The pain! I can't lift my arm.
And so,
it just sits there. And it sits there. It gets uncomfortable.
So, yeah, that was painful. But, of course, I get similar aches and pains just sitting in this chair on that futon playing games. Yeah. I tell you what, this futon sucks because I've got, like...
You can feel the bars underneath of it.
Yeah, the new futon mattress pads are nice. But, like, imagine the material that comes out of, like, those cheap $5 moving blankets.
Yeah.
And that's stuck in between two probably inch-thick foam, like, cotton foam hybrid pads. It is not the most comfortable thing in the world. I, for the longest time, had a really thick blanket sitting on the top of it, and that really helped because it was soft.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is very unrelated to video games, but, I mean, it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world to sit on.
It is related to video games because that's the throne. That's what you sit on.
No, that's the throne.
Well, I mean...
That's the throne for 3.
Yeah, the throne for 3. / bed whenever somebody stays over.
I've used that for a bed on occasion, where I get caught up. Especially, I went through...
Don't feel like moving to your bed that's literally like 4 feet away.
Yeah, I went on a binge before I went to go see the new Star Wars movie, and I went and watched all the Star Wars movies. But I wouldn't watch them until I was done playing computer games, which was like 1:30 in the morning. So it's 1:30 in the morning, and I throw in a 2.5 hour long movie. And so, 3:30 rolls around, and I have to get up at 6 to help people get on the bus. So I just go to sleep on the futon and then wake up with my alarm. And it's easier to wake up sitting on or sleeping on this with your alarm than it is on that. And it's probably because that's really comfortable and the futon's not. It's the most uncomfortable thing.
So your alarm goes off and you're like,
finally,
I might as well get up. I'm definitely not gonna lay in this for 3 hours.
And then when I go back to bed, when I come up after putting, my brothers on the bus, I do lay down in my bed, but it's crazy. But I started gaming on a TV with my PC when I got my TV.
Whenever I got the TV.
Because
I started gaming on the TV when I got a TV.
Well, and the cool thing is that, like, I've got certain games set up to launch and display on my television, and I've got certain games set up to launch and display on my computer. So it's set up like a dual monitor. So, for instance, when I'm watching a TV series or a movie show that I've got saved onto my computer and it plays through Windows Media Player, Windows Media Player is set up to boot on there. So if I just launch
on
it,
there means on
my
the
TV. Yeah,
for those of you who can't see what he's pointing at.
Everybody listening. For those of you, everybody. But no, so my TV launches on my videos and stuff and all this. So it's really neat. And funny story about this headset that I had, because I can't use a wireless headset because it'll go over my coffee table, and it's plugged into the back of my computer, which is facing my... Long story short, I'd end up tearing something up. So I bought this wireless headset, and I will never, ever, ever voluntarily use FedEx ever again.
Why?
I bought this headset, and it's a Turtle Beach. It's like a PX 3.
So numbers.
It's a PX3. It's an Ear Force wireless PX3, and it's a great headset. I love it, except for the microphone sometimes doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And I ordered it for $60. It was like 30-40% off, and I paid like $2 in shipping because it was the cheapest option, and it came through FedEx.
Yeah.
And at this time I had bitter feelings with FedEx. They just never satisfied me, and I'm like, well, you know what? It's been a couple years. Let's go ahead and try it out again. Well, I live like really South Indiana, like almost like we're probably 30 minutes from the Ohio River on a bad day.
Yeah.
So we're really close to Louisville, and they ship it from like New Jersey to California.
Yeah.
And from California, they ship it to New Mexico. From New Mexico, they ship it to Florence, Kentucky. And instead of shipping it from Florence, Kentucky to Louisville, like you'd think a sensible shipping company would, they shipped it from Florence, Kentucky to North Carolina. And I'm not adding any branches here. I remember this like it was... And from North Carolina, it went to Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, great. I'll pick it up.
It'll get here pretty soon.
And then it went to Columbus, Ohio. And then it went to Henryville, Indiana. And finally got delivered to me at my home in Memphis, Indiana.
How late was it?
They ended up being a week and a half off the schedule that they had given me.
Use USPS. The U.S. Postal Service is actually really
I love UPS. I have always used UPS. They've always been... A matter of fact, I'm expecting a package today from UPS, although... Given that we had some rough weather last night, I'm sure that's going to throw some of their delay time or their delivery times off. But it's...
The U.S. Postal Service is usually always on time, if not early.
Well, because they have a set schedule.
Well, yeah.
Everything has to be done in the morning.
Yeah.
But they also don't deliver on Sundays. They don't do any sort of delivery stuff on Sundays. UPS does now.
That's okay, though.
Through Amazon, at least. I know they do it on Amazon. But yeah, again, completely unrelated to gaming aside from the headset.
Yeah, aside from the headset.
It is a great headset. I mean, honestly, the problem with it is, the one problem I have with it, it's got great sound quality and it's got tons of presets. So like, if I'm playing a first-person shooter like Battlefield, I can set so that it'll auto-dampen the explosions, so I can have my volume cranked on my computer, and it'll boost chat, but it'll dampen all the loud like explosions and gunfire.
So you don't deafen yourself.
Yeah. And
by the way, off topic, but the sound design in the Battlefield games is always spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
Especially in Battlefield 4, the sound design is really, really good.
Well, and especially when you're in like a really beefy game where like everything's going on at once.
Yeah, and
you feel like you're in a battlefield.
Yeah, but I mean, even the little stuff like shooting a gun inside a room.
Yeah.
Or inside different types of rooms. It's just the detail in the sound design
is very immersive.
Yeah, it's very good.
I mean, especially for a game of that, it's very immersive. I mean, because like I was saying, like I can be in. Me and Nate will play it on sometimes on just a vote map, all DLC maps, everything, and we'll play, and it's really immersed. Like you could seriously lose yourself in some of these maps because of the sound and the visual aspect and stuff. But
I'll tell you what game has amazing sound design and graphical design. Star Wars Battlefront. But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah. It does, especially sound-wise and visually. It does feel like you're in an old Star Wars game.
Yeah, it feels...
Or in a Star Wars
like
movie.
You're in Star Wars.
It's just like you're talking to one of the stars of the new Star Wars movie. It's like, yeah, man, I was in Star Wars. I'm like, yep, so was I. I'm on there. I'm in like every day.
Yeah, I'm there every day. You know, blasting rebel scum.
You talking about? Are you talking about the game?
No, I'm talking about real life.
Real life, bro.
What are you talking about? Why if I was in Star Wars would I be in a game? Come on.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, my
I think your package got here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. This is more pressing. My only problem with the PX3 is, like I said before, it's got tons of presets. It's got chat boosts, it's got bass boosts, treble boosts, explosion dampening, whatever you want, anything you can imagine, that thing's got, except for the faulty microphone.
Yeah.
And I have read that it's not just me. A very common problem is when you turn the headset on, the microphone doesn't come on with it. And you can flip the microphone switch all you want. So what you end up having to do is make sure the mic's turned off, then turn the headset off, then turn the headset back on, flip the mic on, see if it's working. If it's not, you have to repeat that process until it does.
That's annoying.
And it's 9 times out of 10, it's usually 2 or 3 times before I get any results. And it's really frustrating because I'm trying to hop into chat rooms with friends playing games every evening, and it's just like, I start talking and everybody's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, hey, nothing. And they're like, hello. And I'm like, God damn it. And I turn the headset off and I log out of the room and I flip the mic off. And then it's just my only beef with that headset. And there's really no fix. I've looked and looked and looked. And Nate used to tell me that it was my sound card not setting things up right. And I'm like, it's a USB mic. My sound card is 1/8-inch jacks. So if you're looking for a great wireless headset for an affordable price, the Turtle Beach is great. Just on PC, sometimes the PX3, you have to fiddle with the mic sometimes before it actually kicks on. The mic's great quality. It's what I do all my YouTube videos with the exception of my last 3 garage showcases for GTA. I use this mic that I'm using right now for the podcast. But all my gameplay videos and stuff on YouTube are done with my Turtle Beach. So it's a fantastic microphone. I just, for the life of me, I hate that microphone.
Just that annoying.
It's just...
You have to hate it like 4 times.
Well, it's so frustrating because when I get home and I'm like, I'm tired I work in a warehouse, so I move boxes all the day. And it's just like, I get home, I'm like, I'm tired, I want to sit in my chair and play computer games and talk to friends. So I hop in the chat room and it's not working. And it's like a 15-minute ordeal sometimes, but... That's enough of my spiel on that. I used to use the one that you're using. My other headset right now is what Tyler uses on PC whenever he doesn't play. It's a PLA.
Something like that.
Yeah. And it's real small, but it is... Turtle Beach has always given me some pretty good quality products. I mean...
Turtle Beach is decent quality. It might be a tad bit overpriced, though.
I don't know. I mean, $60 quality for that headset. I mean, that's a nice headset. I need that's one thing I need to do.
By Dre.
Dude, you're paying for a name when you buy those.
Yeah, those things they're made for like 12 cents.
Yeah, they are. They probably come out of the same factory as just like the standard Sony $5 headphones.
Probably, and then they charge you like what, $150 for it.
Or the Skull Candy earbuds. It's like, really?
Yeah, you're just paying for the logo. You're not.
I'm not gonna go spend $80 on earbuds when I can go get them for like $3 somewhere else.
Yeah, and they $3
work
ones
just as
probably
fine.
Sound better too.
If you're and people have made the argument with some of that stuff, like, it's, well, if you're listening to it loud, it's got better sound quality. I'm like, if you're listening to it loud, you're gonna blow your eardrums.
Okay.
So you might as well just quit. I mean, it's pretty frustrating when people, but that's one thing. I'm gonna have to start beefing my computer up here soon. Some of these new games are launching and I can't run up to par. And it's still, my computer does a fantastic job. It's a custom computer. It was built by somebody and shipped to me. But I have I've got a AMD 900 series, like 200R or something. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I want to get an NVIDIA graphics card. I want to get one of the GTX series.
Yeah.
One like a 970 or something. Get a really nice graphics card and then beef up the processor a little bit to a faster one. But that's where
And then play Star Citizen.
Yeah, right. That's where your biggest fees come, is your processor and your motherboard.
Yeah.
That computer's 2 years old, 3 years old. And I mean, for let's just say 2.5. Let's say 2.5-year-old system, and it's still running games that are coming out today on medium or high graphics. That's pretty impressive. I paid $680 for this computer. So it's a little bit more than, say, an Xbox or a PS4, or, but
decent quality for a PC.
It's got longer lasting time. I mean, I've always been told to break it down. If you're ever thinking about getting a PC, a gaming PC, the way I break it down to you is never, ever, ever get a laptop. Ever in the history of ever, don't buy one, because you're gonna spend something like $1,300, and it's gonna be a great computer. Don't get me wrong, but it's only gonna be a great computer for like 3.5 years.
And then it's gonna crap out on you, and you won't be able to.
And then the hardware is gonna be so outdated. And the problem with laptops is, since they're compacted computers, you can't upgrade them. They have very little space for upgrade. Like, you can maybe bump your RAM up. With a desktop, you're literally putting all of your components into a box.
Yeah. And you just open the box, take out the bad thing, put a new thing.
Yeah.
in it.
So I mean, you've got much more freedom in terms of upgrading. It's a lot less to bump, because if you're talking every 3.5 years spending $1,300 on a new gaming laptop, when I bought this one for $680, and I can upgrade it to an almost brand new quality computer for less than $600. And desktops I've always been told desktops have about a 7-year lifespan when it comes to gaming, before they're going to be so outdated that they can't really be considered computer. But I mean, I run a GTA fairly well, and that thing will run GTA on 4K with my TV.
Nice.
Have you ever seen GTA in 4K?
Well, yeah, I've been over here before.
Oh my god. It's like gorgeous. Like, I went,
it's like
because
real life.
I can't. No, that's one thing my computer can't do. I can't record gameplay off my TV when it's in 4K, because then the game gets really, really laggy. But I can't go from my TV on GTA to my computer, because it's like, the computer graphics look great, don't get me wrong, but going from the TV to the computer monitor, it's like clay.
Going from 1080p from 4K.
Yeah, it's just like
it's a big jump.
And you're sitting there in the back of your mind, you're like, I know it's supposed to look great, but it looks like clay people. I mean, it's just, oh my god, if you ever get the opportunity to run your computer off of your TV, you have to do it, because the 4K
or
graphics
if you get
are
a
just
4K monitor.
Yeah, a 4K monitor, but TV's an easy way to do it, because most TVs are already 4K. Most modern TVs are already 4K.
Most modern TVs. Did I tell you about my my TV problem? Because I'm a console gamer, so
I think you did.
Yeah, playing
the audio.
Fallout, it only has a mono speaker, so anything on the left of me when I'm playing Fallout, I can't hear. So if my companions start saying something, it's like I can't understand any of them.
What's that?
What?
I'm deaf in my left ear.
Yeah, I have a deaf ear, and that's really, really annoying. I hope that never happens to me in real life.
You should just make up a story. Like, if you were to ever twitch yourself playing Fallout, just be like, okay, so I'm gonna react as if I'm deaf in my right ear, because my left ear. I'm gonna act as if I'm deaf in my left ear because my TV speaker's out, and so. What was that, you young whippersnapper? My ear's dead.
So the story is that you got some artillery working up at the castle, and it a bad test fire, and I went deaf in one ear. Well,
see, some of the cryo stuff that's supposed to freeze you cryogenically, it dripped into my ear, and it just
and just kind of screwed up everything.
Just make up so many BS excuses.
I don't think the liquid in my ear unthawed after I was released from cryo sleep.
So it's my eardrum's probably still frozen. My eardrum's only in in living years, probably like 30 years old, but
but it's frozen solid. So I can't hear anything.
I tell you one game that I really want to try on PC is the new Need for Speed game. I know you're not a huge racing game, but have you seen some of the footage from that game?
No.
It looks gorgeous. And I mean, it's not on PC yet. It's been on Xbox and PS4 since
Is it on Xbox?
Yeah.
I thought Need for Speed only released on PlayStation.
That's Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo's PlayStation exclusive.
Because
if it was a PlayStation exclusive, it wouldn't be on computer.
Okay.
Because it'd be a Sony title. But the new Need for Speed game looks gorgeous. I mean, I watched the E3 footage for it, and then obviously I know this is kind of old news because again, it's already out. But for us, our PC players are eagerly awaiting it. I mean, it's like hard to distinguish. I mean, graphics wise, it's probably the closest graphics wise a game has gotten to Forza in a long, long time. Like
Forza's graphics are incredible on cars and stuff.
It's crazy how good those are. And I mean, and again, that's the only reason. It's sad, but that is the only reason I want an Xbox One.
Is to play Forza. I don't even have Forza.
I can't believe that. That's sad. That truly makes me almost want to cry.
I feel like spending $60 I'm gonna play on a game I'm gonna play like 3 times.
No, I could play Forza for hours because again, I don't play racing games to race.
Maybe I would get into it a lot.
I don't play racing games to race though. I play racing games, and this is the best part.
Racing games for the cars.
To customize the cars. Like I can live my dream cars in virtual reality.
Yeah, through the game.
And I mean, that's the reason I really wish there was a game like Forza on a different console because the customization in that game is incredible. There is no other game that I've seen where you could break down your decals by shapes. And you can, so you've got like 1,000 different vinyls that you can apply to a car on one car, and then each one of those vinyls can be comprised of more than one vinyl that's already been pre-built, and over 500 shapes. So you're talking about these super detailed cars. I mean, there has never been a game that can do that, and that's why I wish that somebody would, and I'm sure Forza and Turn 10 have that all copyrighted, but I really wish there was a system like that in a game.
I'm not sure if you could technically copyright that. I mean, you could change up the menus and stuff, and bam, you'd have basically a new system.
I just wish somebody would do that on a PS4 and an Xbox or a PC environment because I play racing games for the customization and the ability to do that much in depth. I mean, you can spend 10 minutes and make something that looks cool. You could spend 10 hours and make something that looks freaking awesome. I mean, there's just so much you can do with the customization in that game. Now, granted, body-wise, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of body kit stuff, but visually, in terms of your paint and your decals and your vinyls and all that stuff, I would love to be able to just experience that on my own time, on my own home, on my own console. But nobody. I don't know if it's just because it's probably a time-consuming system to make.
Probably.
I mean, because you gotta factor in that one little decal.
Actually, maybe it wouldn't be that hard to make. It's just, like you just throw it in and let the community do stuff with it. But you would just have to make barriers like this decal. Whenever you select it on this side, can only go in this area. Otherwise,
I wish somebody, maybe it's just because they're intimidated of Forza, but I wish somebody would do that on PC or PlayStation because it really sucks. It really does. Like, everybody's like, well, Gran Turismo is just like Forza, but for PlayStation. I'm like, no. Shut up. You're wrong. They're like, well, it's a pretty realistic simulator. I'm like, I don't play racing games to race. I play racing games to make things. So, yeah, it's really frustrating. So, if there's any game developers out there that develop racing games, you've got a customer here if you make a game similar to Forza. I mean, I've gotten so desperate to the point where I've tried to find ports for Forza to PC.
Yeah. Or, like crappy indie games. I
mean, it's crazy. And, I mean, I I just wish that in terms of games in general, I wish games were like that. And then you've seen they've got the community thing.
Yeah. I really wish. Like, I'm really disappointed in Battlefront because I thought you would be able to like customize your stormtrooper armor and stuff. Like, put decals on your helmets and stuff, and like maybe you could add tally marks on your helmet.
Yeah, for like every. That's one thing
for like every game won or something like that. I would say every kill, but your whole armor would be covered in tally marks by like 4 games.
The one thing, now granted, I haven't played this game in a long time, so I'm not sure how much of it has changed. But War Thunder, the PC and PlayStation World War II aircraft and ground game, they have a really neat system. Where now you're the only one, as of the last time I played it, you're the only one that can see it. But you can open up your plane's skin, like the paint that goes over your skin, in a software editing program, and you can edit it however you please.
Yep.
And then you can slap that skin back onto your plane, and you get this really cool personalized look. And what I think would be really cool is if they did that sort of like they do mods in Space Engineers on PC, where like every time you join a game, it'll automatically acquire everybody's plane skins, and you'd be able to see them. Because right now, you're the only person that sees it. So you can spend hours and hours and hours making this really badass B-17 bomber skin, but you're the only one that can see it.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there, it's just like, you're in a game and lobby with your friends, like, oh man, dude, this is like the coolest soaring plane ever. It's just like,
looks like the default skin, man.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Shut
about?
up.
Like, really, you need to get, like, the B-17, and you need to, like, replace the decal, and on the bottom, on the bomb bays, you need to have, like, let freedom ring on the bomb bays.
Dropping 3 tons of freedom every day.
Every day.
That's one thing.
Freedom every day.
That was always my catchphrase. I'm a bomber in War Thunder. When it comes to playing that game, again, if you've never played that game, it's a great game. It's really well done. My only problem with it is it's very clearly biased to the Russian faction.
Yeah.
The game
Jacks, man.
The game is.
Whenever you have a really fast, really agile plane with 3 20mm cannons on it, and like tier 2, you're screwed.
It's a great game, but it's developed by a company called Gaijin Entertainment, which is a Russian-based game developer. And to put it, your game is split up. Your planes are split up into different tiers. You have tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to 5. Your 5s are jet fighters and stuff like that. Tier 1's all your biplanes. You usually have like 10mm cannons or something like that.
No, not even cannons. They
or
just have
machine guns.
Yeah, they just have like 5.56 and 7.62
and then there is
12.7mm.
One tier 1 plane in the game that has 20mm cannons in it. And you want to know what team it's on? The Russian team. And from there, it's just all downhill from there. But biases aside, it is a really cool game, and I've always played it as a bomber. And my catchphrase flying into the drop zone is, depending on my bomb, my load, I'll sit there and be like, all right, getting ready to drop 4 tons of freedom on the enemy base, and I'll just hit the space bar and let them go. 4 tons of freedom heading towards objective C. And but no, it is it's designed really well, and the game looks gorgeous for being as big and massive as it is. I mean, there's a lot of detail even in the places that you're not gonna see. Like granted, if you're a bad pilot like me, you see the ground quite often, but the ground is still like a really well done texture, and it runs incredibly smooth for all the stuff that it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course, it's not like a hilariously detailed ground texture where you can see like individual blades of grass. Yeah. But it's still pretty darn good because, I mean, it's a flying game. You're mostly going to be looking at the sky.
There's ground combat too.
Yeah, there's
for
a
the
little
tanks.
bit of ground combat.
And now both. Like, there's games with both, which is really cool.
It's really neat. But
Josh keeps asking me to play that game, and he wants to do tank combat. And the problem with the tank battles is that most of them are in simulator mode, where it's simulating actual battles, meaning that you're restricted to X aircraft depending on what team you're on. Mm-hmm. and you're restricted to X tank depending on what team you're on. So I love my B-17, and I love my P...
Yeah.
I like the P-51, but it's not the one I'm thinking of.
P-48?
Maybe.
P-40?
No, that's the Thunderbolt.
P-40?
No, that might be it. Yeah, the P-40. Because that's got like two 20mm cannons, and it's just fucking badass.
Well, I think it's got like four 12.7 millimeters.
Yeah, that might be it. And then it's got the one cannon in the middle of the propeller.
Yeah, it's got the giant like 70 millimeter cannon.
No, that's the
Sorry,
PBJ.
It's not 70 millimeters. It's 40 millimeters, I think.
Yeah, that might be it.
It's a 40
But yeah, I
cannon.
love the P-40, and almost all those simulator battles, none of those planes are available.
Well, it's hilarious whenever you're flying the P-40, especially if you upgraded the cannon so it actually shoots straight. And you just strafe something, and you're just like, click, and it explodes.
Well, it's like the PBJ in that game. So the B-25 was a bomber, and it was a really good bomber, but it was more of like a versatile bomber. It still had, your turrets.
Wasn't that a long-range bomber?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then they made the the PBJ, which was essentially a B-25 minus the bomber stuff. It still had a small bomb capacity,
Mm-hmm.
and then they threw on a tank cannon. And I'm not kidding. It's a 70 millimeter cannon wedged into the right-hand side of the front of that plane. And when you're sitting flat on the runway in that game and you fire that cannon, the right-hand side of the plane jumps backwards. That's how powerful it is. If you hit somebody just by accident with that thing, their plane explodes. Like, there is no in your regular.
What's the? I think it's the German plane that has two.
Oh, the Ju-87 or something like that.
Like two 120 mils.
We always make the joke about this plane. So, again, this still relates to video games, so we could talk about it. But
yeah, you know, you gotta think these guys are in a meeting and they're like, we need a new plane. We need a new.
We need no plane. We need more armament on planes, and it's
one
just
guy's
like
just kind of like spacing out, just like looking out the window on the runway and stuff, and like a battalion of a tank battalion rolls in, and he just sits there and he looks over at a plane,
and then he looks at the tank and he's just like,
and keeps looking back and forth. All of a sudden he's like, "Sir,
I have an idea."
I have an idea.
And then, of course, that plane, you gotta imagine how much bracing it would. Imagine the test flights for a plane like that. Because you're talking about putting literally a tank cannon underneath the wings on a plane.
Yeah, I wonder how many times they shot that thing and lost the cannon.
Lost the cannon or the wing?
Or the wing, yeah.
Oh, there goes another one. Alright, that design's scratched. Next!
It's like, more cable.
But War Thunder really is a good game. I haven't played it in a long time, but that's one of those games where they do have a premium membership.
Uh-huh.
But it's not what you get a lot for what you pay for. I mean, I used to be a premium member. I'd pay every month or two. I wouldn't be an every month premium, but you get like double XP, you get double research points, which are what help you unlock different planes and different attachments for your planes. You get double Lion credits, which are what you use to buy most things. And then there's tons of other stuff that you get. You get premium planes, which are a little bit OP, but not too much. Really all it is just converting like the Flocke-Wulf 190 from the German. You can get it on the US team if you're a premium member. So, and it's not more than like $15. Or $10-15. It was really reasonably priced to the point where I thought, and I am anti-pay to play games. Like, I hate that. I hate membership fees, and I was one that really agreed with the War Thunder fee. So if you've ever got time, it's a free-to-play game, and if you've got a decent enough PC to run it, it doesn't require a beast. I think you were able to play War Thunder.
Yeah, I was on the minimum of minimum graphics, but I was able to play it. And on a workable frame rate.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking, you got a brick.
Occasionally I got 30 frames per second, but usually I'd run like 25, like between 15 and 25 frames per second. Sometimes I would have a really bad time and it would run at like 5 to 10.
But in terms of brick,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's with a brick.
yeah. So
if you have a brick laptop, so if you have any kind of decent computer, you can probably run it on mid.
yeah.
I
mean, it's
with a solid 60 FPS.
Most computers you buy in the store nowadays are capable of running it.
Yeah, probably
pretty comfortably. So if you've ever got the time, that is a really good game. It's available on Steam, and you can also Google it too. It's a fun game. I used to sink hours. Yeah, you can't get better than that. It's probably the best free to play aviation game out there.
Probably.
I mean,
I think it's pretty darn good.
Especially the realism mode, which you like to play on a lot. The one where you actually have to worry about everything in the cockpit.
Before I do that, I need to get I need to get throttle, pedals, and a joystick.
I don't know if that game's compatible with joystick.
It is. I'm pretty sure.
I think I looked into it. I don't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it is, because if not, then
oh, you know what it is, because Nate had Nate was using one.
The mouse controls are not very intuitive for realistic.
Yeah, well, of course, Nate tried using the joystick, though, and every time he'd pull up, the plane would go into a downward spiral and hit the ground, and he'd just be like, well,
you gotta
I give up.
You gotta do it gently, especially if you're playing on simulator. Otherwise you'll stall hard.
Yeah.
You'll stall hard and crash.
But yeah, for especially, I mean, honestly, great game. I can bitch and moan all day about the Russian bias and all that stuff, but it really is a good game. I mean,
they evened it out a little bit with the new P51. They evened it out a little bit because the new P51 has
new one. How new?
How new? It was in a couple updates ago.
Because the P51 that I was used to using sucked.
Yeah,
which was completely unrealistic because the P51 won the war.
It had like another. They added one in Tier 3, I think.
Well, that's good.
It was either Tier 2 or Tier 3 that has 4 20 mils.
I mean, that plane was incredible. It was everything the P-48 was, but better.
Yeah, faster, quicker turn ratios.
More fuel. In a realistic standpoint, your fuel is going to be... that's something you do have to worry about. And
one of the big problems with that, though, is that their fuel tank was in a bad spot.
Yeah, that's true. There's some...
So if you... a lot of the P-51s in the war got one banged.
Well, they nerfed all the American bombers, though. A while back, they went and updated it, and I used to love playing as a bomber in that game, and it's not possible anymore. They made all the American bombers feel like they were made out of toothpicks and computer paper. I mean, you're sitting there flying through the sky.
It's like an elementary school plane project.
And you're flying through the sky in the B-17, the Flying Fortress.
Yeah, and somebody
shoots you.
Somebody sneezes at you and your wing comes off.
It's ridiculous. And there's some, that again, all this complaining aside, great game. Somebody went on to Gaijin and made a forum thread about the overpowered Russian planes, and they shut it down because they were getting so much negative feedback. They were like, nope, and they deleted the thread. Come on.
That's rude. But what's really funny is I really wish there was a fighter spawn at bomber level.
Yeah, so your bomber escorts would have...
Yeah, so you could either have bomber escorts, or you could more easily deal with enemy bombers, because a lot of the times it'll take you like 15 minutes to climb to the right height, and by that point your bomber's already over your bases.
Nate's usually my escort, and he'll use either the Focke-Wulf 190 or the P40. And
it'll take you 15 minutes to climb.
I start up here, and I'm obviously I'm in feet because I can't do metric. And
you're like, how tall? Like 20,000.
20,000 feet. And I look below me, and it's just like it's like Blackheart 13.13.7, 16,000 feet lower than you, and I'm like,
yeah, he's at like 5,000.
Yeah,
you're at 20,000 feet. It'll take him like 15 minutes to
spiral up.
Yeah, to climb that. Cause
again, even in your arcade mode, you do have to worry you can't go straight up because you'll stall.
Yeah, but I mean, especially in realistic, you have to watch that a lot because you'll overheat if you're using emergency warpower. And B, you'll stall out really, really hard if you pitch up too fast.
You can counteract that if your bomber escorts are dive bombers.
Yeah.
Because your dive bombers, even though they're pretty much attack planes with small bomb capacities,
Yeah.
they spawn at bomber level, which honestly bothers me because sometimes I use my dive bombers as like a last resort. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm out of fighters, I'm out of bombers, might as well use the PBJ, and I spawn up here, and I'm like, I've got like 500 pounds worth of bombs. I'm like, that's gonna scratch the base.
Yeah, it's got. Yeah, I'm gonna tickle it.
I got a bomb.
What's the boat plane? The PB.
The PBJ or the PBY, yeah, the Catalina.
Yeah, that's the boat plane.
Yeah.
You know that plane is surprisingly light
Mm-hmm.
because you can do a lot of stuff with that planes that you shouldn't be able to do with a bomber.
It used to be really good too. Like
you
it was
can do a lot of stuff with that plane that you shouldn't be able to do with a bomber. It's so light.
It's a tier 1 bomber, so it's it's the first bomber you can get on the American team if you research it.
It's literally classified as a flying boat.
Yeah, and it was
like other planes, like other kind of attack planes or bombers are called hydroplanes.
Yeah.
That is literally called a
flying
boat.
But it was great because that thing could take a shit ton of bullets. I mean, you could beat the hell out of it before you had to land for repairs. Of course, the problem with the seaplane is there's nowhere to land for repairs. People say if you land in the water by the base that you'll start getting repaired, but sometimes there's no water by the base. But when they went through and nerfed all the freaking bombers, it's just like every other one. It's like toothpicks and paper.
Can you still crash land on the airstrip?
I don't know. I haven't. I don't typically crash land on the airstrip. I'll usually go on. I'll probably end up a half mile away, and I'll loop back around and try to land on the airstrip. But, you know, I don't.
I mean, with the PBY, you.
Oh, I don't know about
have
that.
to crash land. On
Yeah,
the airstrip.
if you land on the airstrip, it have to be a crash landing.
Because you don't have landing gear.
They have the one that has landing gear though.
Oh, they do.
It's like the PBYC whatever. It's the Catalina,
PBY dash blah blah
yeah.
blah.
But it's been there since the start of the game. But it's a landing gear variant, so it can land in the water or on the land.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is. Because it's just.
But I mean, if you're using the regular boat, the flying boat, you're gonna have to skid to a stop.
Yeah.
And destroy the bottom of your plane.
So
maybe if you repair, I'll spawn you back in the water.
Probably. I don't know.
If you even get repairs.
I've never made it to the point where I could get it repaired because A, I still have no idea where to go. And B, on my way there I usually get taken out by a yak or a BF 109.
Yeah. BF 109s are awesome. They're scary.
See, you can tell for several reasons that it was designed by a Russian publisher.
Well, yeah,
because your Russian planes.
The BF
yeah, the BF 109 was a great plane. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But in terms of best planes, Russia's in first place, Germany's in second, Japan's in third, and then Britain's fourth, and the U.S. is fifth. You can tell that Russia's just like, we don't like the U.S. and the United Nations. We're going to make our favorites up top, and the Americans and British down below. So they had this vengeance.
Zeros are scary, man.
Yeah.
They are terrifying, because those things can turn on a dime.
Some of the Japanese planes were good. Some of the Japanese planes, if you sneeze at them, they explode.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think a Zero is the case of that. But those things could turn so fast.
Oh, yeah.
It can turn insanely fast. But Germany, in all fairness, does deserve to be high on the list.
Does deserve to be high on the list,
because
but we won the war for a reason.
Yeah, German engineering. German engineering, man.
I mean,
there's a reason why if you want to buy any cars, vehicles, or weapons, you buy German weapons, cars, or vehicles.
Cars or vehicles.
Yeah, cars or vehicles, as in planes.
Could have just said vehicles. That's a little bit redundant.
You're redundant.
So yeah, that was our 20-minute spiel on War Thunder. Great game. Go get it if you've got the space. It's a seriously very fun game.
Even though we keep talking about how unfair it is.
It's
still very fun though.
It's fun. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship, like you have a Battlefield. Like you're like, oh man, I love Battlefield, but this sucks and this sucks and this sucks, and oh man, I wish they'd do that in C4.
And C4.
I realized again how much I hate that. I mean, I understand we've got
Somebody's
some pretty...
chucking C4 over a wall, blowing it up, getting like 10 kills.
We've got pretty advanced technology. But in order to set it, you can't just throw it on a surface and it be set. Otherwise, you could sit on the trigger and blow yourself up. Like, if they made some sort of comical counteractment to that, where it's just like every now and again, if you crouched or you went prone, you triggered your C4 and blew yourself up, that'd be one thing. But literally, they can just throw it behind them and keep running and then push a button. If you want to make C4 blow things up in one shot, you should make it a little bit more difficult to apply. Like, you should, kind of like sticky bombs when in GTA, when you're close enough to a surface, like a wall, you put it down and you push a couple buttons and then you get up. That should be C4 in Battlefield. Not, whoop,
except in
click.
Except in GTA, if you throw them, it's like...
Well, yeah, it's like C4.
Except you can throw them a lot farther.
Yeah.
It's in there, somebody's flying away in a helicopter, and you're just like, nope, whoop, chuck it up there.
You know what I love about GTA is the proximity mines. You know how many times I've blown myself up because I think of proximity mines as regular AT mines from Battlefield? Every time I read mines, I'm usually anticipating it to interpret good from bad. But it's a normal mine. It doesn't do that. If it gets in proximity with anything, it explodes.
Yeah.
So there have been countless times where I've tried to kill Nate by throwing a proximity mine on the hood of my car and then jumping in the driver's seat and driving away. And as soon as I get in the driver's seat, it explodes. And I'm like, And Nate's like, what happened? I'm like, nothing.
You know, it's just one of those freak accidents. I guess I put an ignition bomb in my car by accident again. You know, common mistake. You know, that's the one option in the game that it asks you to confirm. It's like, are you sure you want to put an ignition bomb? Yeah, sure.
Pretty sure.
What you need to do is you need to do that and then like set up your car and it's like, hey Nate, why don't you go drive me somewhere?
No.
Like,
sure.
My car's over there.
Put that in my VIP car because Nate's always my driver when I'm a VIP. Just be like, Nate, since I'm the VIP, I'll ride in the back seat. You just drive me where I need to go. Okay, sure.
It's like, it's over there. Go pick it up and I'll wait here. Kaboom!
No, rig a civilian car. And tell him to go pick up my car. Like, park my car somewhere where the NPC or the mechanic would drop it off, and then tell him to just grab this car and run and pick up my car while I go in and buy some snacks or something. And I just go inside, and, I'm buying P's and Q's. Les Paul Obsession has killed Blackheart 13-13-7. And I can just see his reaction. He'd just be like...
Real funny, Austin. Real funny.
Well, there was one night me and him got into a fight on GTA, and we just keep killing each other. I'm like, Nate, I'm rich. You don't mess with rich people. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't mess with rich people. So I call in a rhino, and I start blowing the shit out of him. And finally, he's like, okay, I give up. And I'm like, fine. You win. I win, but I'm done. My tank's about to explode, and, you can hear the beeping noise on the top of the tank that it's about to explode. So I'm like, here, you can have it. And I get out and throw a sticky bomb on the back under the track so he can't see it. Like, here, you can have it. And I start walking away, and I turn my camera around, and he points the gun at me, and I'm like, click, and he blows up, and he's like, I should have seen that coming. I'm like, I wouldn't have done it if you didn't point the gun at me. He's like, I was going to shoot the building behind you. I'm like, sure you were. I'm just like, he's like, I should have seen that coming. I'm like, yeah, you should have. You don't just get free tanks. What are you kidding? Somebody just walked up. It's like those moments in Battlefield where you plant the in Battlefield 3 and Caspian Border where you'd plant the tank by the water tower and then blow up the C4 when somebody got in it.
And the water tower collapses on the tank.
Oh man, good times. We're running down to a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and do the closing announcements. Make sure if you like this podcast that you follow us on Mixlr. We stream live every Tuesday about 4 p.m. We were a little late today, but weather has
sucks.
been... Yeah. And then it'll be live tomorrow, the 10th, on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my YouTube channel to get it the day after. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. So do seriously though follow us because we try to do this every day. And if we can get a couple consistent followers, we're gonna throw a Facebook page up on the interwebs, and you can like us and subscribe to all of our content, and we'll get a pretty decent following hopefully one day. And if we get enough people maybe we can get some guest stars on. So just keep that in mind. So we really appreciate you listening. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Again, thanks for listening to the LAN Party Podcast. Enjoy the next week.
Later.